Hello everyone, and welcome to the December 29th edition of the Hacked.com weekly webinar series. My name is Sam Borgi, Chief Editor at Hacked. We hope that you've had a great week. We hope that you had a Merry Christmas. We are in the final few days of 2017, and of course this is our last webinar of the year. A lot of really interesting developments occurred this week in the market. Of course, the cryptocurrency sphere was very active. The broader equity and commodity markets were also fairly robust with activity, despite the fact that we were in lower volume trading at this time of year. So over the next 10 or 15 minutes, we want to give you a brief recap of the week that was in the market, and then perhaps draw your attention to what could transpire as we come back from the new year. Once again, my name is Sam of Hack.com. You can reach me anytime at sam@hack.com. As you can see there, I am fairly responsive. I was doing quite a bit of traveling over the past few weeks. I am back at the office. If you have any questions, any comments, you can always leave them in the comment box or send me an email and I'll get back to you. Having said that, our agenda, we want to keep it nice and simple as we usually do on our weekly series. We want to give you a week in review, just giving you just a snapshot of what transpired in the broader market over the past 7 days or so. We then, of course, we want to zero in on the global cryptocurrency market and look at what the market cap is doing. Of course, we're going to give you a recap of Hack.com and what's going on the website, and then ultimately what to watch for as we roll into 2018. Very exciting times for a lot of us. I know we had a very tumultuous year in the market, but if you're a crypto trader, hopefully you did very, very well. So essentially, the past few weeks, we've been talking quite a bit about Bitcoin. This week, it's been mostly Ripple. I mean, Ripple has absolutely surged on Friday. It's been gaining pretty much all week long. It rose over 50% today to become the world's second largest cryptocurrency by market cap. According to CoinMarketCap.com, Ripple reached a total value of over $90 billion. I mean, the last prices I checked on CoinMarketCap showed a price around $250. Although if you go to barchart.com and a few others, you still see the prices around $2. Nevertheless, Ripple has been exploding. As you can see, it overtook Ethereum as the world's second largest cryptocurrency by market cap. Essentially, there's a lot of positive influences Ripple is having on the market. One of the biggest issues right now facing the cryptocurrency market, and Bitcoin in particular, has been making these tokens readily available for use, right, for transactions. Ripple solves that problem through almost instantaneous transaction speeds, and it's becoming a favorite among the financial sector. That's why Ripple is often called more of a centralized cryptocurrency. Obviously, the majority of the tokens are owned by the Ripple company, but earlier this week, or I should say throughout the month, we've seen some pretty high-level partnerships involving Ripple. There was American Express. Ripple is going to be helping them solve liquidity issues. There's also a lot of interest in Asia. We're seeing a consortium, I believe, of over 60 Japanese banks, as well as 2 large South Korean financial services companies that are joining forces to essentially explore the use of blockchain through Ripple. Lots of influential names are now dropping Ripple and experimenting with the altcoin. So we are seeing a lot of demand for Ripple, and I think that a lot of investors now view it as, one of the lowest risk cryptocurrencies out there because it has such a strong use case among the institutional side, right? Now, obviously, a lot of us would say, that defeats the purpose of a cryptocurrency as we know Bitcoin to be. But obviously, not all cryptocurrencies are the same. Many of them have different specifications. Not all of them are trying to accomplish what Bitcoin is trying to accomplish. Ripple seems to have the opportunity to really work within the existing financial system, and that's why we're seeing so much demand for this one in particular, especially over the past month or so. It's one of the best performing cryptos of the year, and a lot of people, a lot of analysts have been, I read the market every day, are beginning to say that Ripple could be the breakout crypto of 2018. Of course, that's an opinion, but there seems to be a lot of support for that. Obviously, we wrote several articles on Ripple this week. One of them was about Coinbase rumors that was picked up quite a bit around the blockchain community. There has been some rumblings that Coinbase could introduce Ripple into their coveted basket or coveted service offering as early as next year. So pay attention to that. We know that Coinbase is looking to roll out more cryptos. Ripple could be on the short list. So this is the price level that we've seen XRP over the past few months. We are around $1.92, depending on who you ask. Again, crypto market cap has XRP right now well above $2. So regardless of how you look at it, it is at record highs, and it has been absolutely surging for several weeks now. Very interesting to note that XRP, I knew it was onto something when it was essentially immune from these broader market corrections that we've seen over the past few weeks. We saw Bitcoin crash, we saw the market crash. Throughout that period, XRP was surprisingly buoyant. It was holding its ground, and it was even rising on some of those corrections. And this week, Bitcoin wasn't so hot, but XRP managed to lead the charge. That, of course, leads us to the broader cryptocurrency market highlights. In addition to Ripple, we saw NEM hit new all-time highs on Friday. Last I checked, it was trading around a buck even. It is now I believe, number 8 crypto in the world by market cap. It's definitely top 10. The Bitcoin correction continues with prices consolidating in the mid $14,000 range. This week we saw Bitcoin trade between, I would say, 13,500 and 16,500. So obviously well off its record high, but nowhere near the levels that we saw last week, right? Where according to Coinbase, I believe it briefly fell below 12,000 at one point. We are consolidating again. It was still a spectacular year for Bitcoin, although a lot of the forecasts are now coming in, and obviously forecasts you can take it with a grain of salt. Most people are predicting more price growth for Bitcoin next year, although don't expect institutional trading to necessarily boost prices. It's not going to be that linear. It's not that simple. It really depends on what the big holders of Bitcoin do, right? There's 40%, I should say about 1,000 Bitcoin holders control 40% of the market, right? Depends on what these guys and girls do, whether or not they actually use the futures market, whether they decide to cash out or not. They will largely dictate the flow of the market moving forward. So keep your eye on that. Institutional trading doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to be seeing sky-high prices. So we've seen numerous times now Bitcoin is prone to large corrections. Of course, Bitcoin Cash overall consolidated this week after some wild swings as Coinbase resumed support of the digital currency. Of course, if you're familiar with the story, you know that there's been some accusations that there was some insider trading going on at Coinbase around the time that it ushered in Bitcoin Cash support. It's on the Reddit channel. I believe a few days before Bitcoin Cash went live, somebody posted that it was going to go live in a few days. That caused prices to surge. So Coinbase did suspend trading of Bitcoin Cash momentarily, but it has since resumed. It's been resuming trading there for over a week now. So Bitcoin Cash has moderated, although we still are prone to wild fluctuations as we saw this week. Obviously, regulation is always a story in this market. South Korea, which is essentially a hotbed now for cryptocurrency, has announced moves to regulate the market, essentially to try to weed out speculation. So it's going to affect people who want to open crypto accounts anonymously. And based on the news that I've been reading, the regulators are actually putting a complete ban right now on all new accounts. So South Korea is mulling the crypto sphere, as we know. There's several large exchanges there that are controlling huge swaths of the market. South Korea has emerged as a powerhouse for cryptocurrency trading. Keep your eye on that story. This is the global cryptocurrency market cap. I love this chart. I look at it almost daily. Again, courtesy of coinmarketcap.com. The market cap, the last I saw, was around $615 billion. As you can see, over the past week, we experienced some wild fluctuations, falling, even below $500 billion at one point. On December, around Christmas Eve to Christmas, we saw a large decline in the market around that time before investors bought the dips again. So overall, we are back above $600 billion. Still ways away from the all-time high, which is closer to $650 billion. That largely depends on what Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin, of course, controls a smaller and smaller portion of this market as time has gone on. You go back to January, Bitcoin had something like over 90% of the market in terms of market cap. Now it's about 43% based on the latest data that I've seen. When it comes to actual transaction volume, Bitcoin is usually between 45 and 50% of the daily transaction volumes in the market. Keep that in mind. So we just covered the crypto sphere. Of course, we like to cover the broader stock market, commodity markets as well. There should be a comma there. My OCD is going to trigger that comma. There should be a comma: stocks, commodities. We are looking at the broader market. Of course, the Santa Claus rally on Wall Street didn't materialize this week. If you're familiar with the historical research, you know that the Santa Claus rally typically occurs in the final week of the year after Christmas. We see a general uptrend in stocks due to numerous reasons. It could be tax implications. It could be general upbeat sentiment. The bears are on vacation. Whatever it may be, usually the final week of the year, we see that nice Santa Claus rally. Didn't really happen this week. It looked like on Thursday we were heading in the right direction, but Friday we saw a sharp decline in the market. S&P, the Dow, finished slightly lower. In case of the S&P, it essentially broke a 5-week winning streak. So, interesting there. Volatility, as measured by the CBOE VIX, rose this week to close at 11, still very low by historical standards, still implying complacency in the market, but nevertheless, volatility is well off its yearly lows, or essentially what we've grown accustomed to seeing over the past several months. Commodities have been surging as of late. Oil prices, U.S. crude prices, reached $60 a barrel this week, closing above $60 on Friday. Gold prices are also now trading above $1,300 an ounce. So oil is trading at multi-year highs, gold is at multi-month highs. As the U.S. dollar rounds out its worst year since 2003, the U.S. dollar index tracks the performance of the greenback against a basket of 6 currencies. It closed down about 10% for the year. So much for the Fed boosting the dollar. We've all heard the phrase "buy the rumor, sell the fact." That aptly describes the dollar's performance this year. I've been following the dollar's meteoric rise since mid-2014, on top of the Fed raising interest rates, on top of the Fed tightening monetary policy. Well, we saw that happen this year, but the dollar was sold on the fact, as they say. So let's move on here. We, of course, like to give you an overview of the developments on hack.com. Of course, hack.com, we seek to be one of the top cryptocurrency resources on the web, and we like to give you resources on a daily basis, research articles, analysis articles, ICO coverage. Whatever we can do to make your trading more informed, to make your understanding of the market more informed is what we're aiming to do. We covered 4 ICO reviews this week. I know some of us were away around Christmas time. More of your suggestions are underway. I am working on a few right now, and I know the writers are busy pumping out more ICO analyses. As you've probably noticed, we are producing more educational and op-ed pieces. We hope that you enjoy those articles. The most read articles of the week, they're listed there. Ripple XRP surges on Coinbase rumors. I actually wrote that one not this week, but the week before. It's just been a very, very popular article, and we finished number 1 there again this week. XRP shows resilience amid broader holiday slump. That one was another article that I believe I wrote, I think on the Christmas Eve, on Christmas. We saw a couple of trade recommendations there for Litecoin and shorting Bitcoin. And of course, an article there on IOTA, the machine learning cryptocurrency jumped. So again, lots of interest in the altcoins, and we appreciate every single eyeball that reviewed these articles. Let us know if you have any other suggestions. We'd love to hear from you, or simply go over to our workplace and let us know. What to watch for moving into next week, the first full week of 2018. What's next for Ripple? I mean, Ripple right now is surging. Does it continue? Does it pull back? All eyes are on the number 2 crypto now. A lot of us are also looking at whether we're going to see a New Year correction for stocks. I know there's been a lot of bearish forecasts on the stock market this year. And I wouldn't necessarily say bearish, but I would say that a lot of people are concerned that the equity rally is overstretched, myself included. So I would be very, very surprised to see double-digit percentage gains in 2018 for stocks. We'll see whether or not the market corrects lower at the start of the year, or whether the Trump era euphoria will continue. Of course, the first Friday of the month typically means U.S. non-farm payrolls. The jobs report will be released Friday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cryptocurrency market regulation, let's keep our eye on that. I mentioned South Korea earlier, Russia as well. has announced tentative plans to essentially unveil their crypto regulations moving forward. Of course, Russia is one of a handful of countries that is actively looking at a crypto backed by fiat currency, the so-called crypto ruble. Let me know your thoughts on that. And will the commodity surge continue? As I mentioned earlier, gold and oil rose this week. Let's see whether they can continue the rally or whether a correction will ensue. We've seen correction after correction after correction for the gold market, so let's pay attention to that. That pretty much covers everyone. We hope that it's been informative. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for tuning in. From all of us at Hack, we hope that you had a Merry Christmas. We hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful New Year. And I will catch you next week for the first installment of our 2018 webinar series. Take care.